Hello everyone. Welcome back to another edition, of course, of the Misfits Racing League. It's time for MRL Abu Dhabi. It is the 22nd round, the final round of racing action for the Tier 2 division here in Season 4, and joining me for all of the action around the United Arab Emirates is Unicorn. How you doing?
Yes, Jeff, I'm excited for this one. It's all coming down to this. We have had, a great season of racing, and, it all comes down to this. We've already got the championship wrapped off, of course, here in Tier 2, but that doesn't mean there can't be one last hurrah. Still points to scramble for, still places. It may not be P1, but there are still many, many people on this grid who could be up on their final, championship position with a good result here, but also, you've got the combined constructors, Red Bull and Mercedes locked, in combat for the victory there. But Abu Dhabi, it's provided some exciting action already this week. Tonight, I think, will be absolutely no difference, Drift.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We've already seen some very, very exciting, intense action here in the final round of the MRL, and that was, of course, from Tier 3 yesterday and the Tier 1 division last night. And, even Tier 2, America's on Monday. But, of course, now we're here for the 22nd final round of action. It is Abu Dhabi, and, of course, we saw Brazil last week. And we started this campaign in Australia, and it's all come down to this. And, of course, massive shout-out to our great partners, Next Level Racing. We have a giveaway going on for a rig, and you can get involved typing !giveaway and following that link. It's free to participate, and as we jump into the standings here, well, I'd just like to take a moment and say, well, it's all about this man right here, Azir, of course, clinching, if I am not mistaken, that championship here with the Williams squad. And thank you so much for the Prime sub in the chat as well, Azir, and we greatly appreciate your support. And, well, good luck today here in the final round. Scars there in the Alfa Romeo. He is second in the standings with his teammate right behind him. And we look at the constructors. It is Alfa Romeo, Williams, and McLaren, your top three. However, Red Bull is chasing down McLaren, and Racing Point could very well land themselves in it as well if the full-time drivers are here to score some serious points. And we'll just see what happens coming into this final round. There's a lot of intensity. I find the mentality switches it gets kicked up a notch, if you will, Unicorn.
Yeah, this is the last race, and for a lot of people, it'll be their last race against this exact grid. And as such, you do get will-to-will fighting. If anyone, over the course of a season, you develop rivalries, you develop friendships. If you get put side by side with someone that you've been talking to for the last 20 odd weeks, you're gonna want to fight them hard, because this might be your last opportunity to do it in an official league race. For quite some time. We've got a break coming between the two seasons as well, so this is going to be the last league race for a lot of people for some weeks, so they want to have a good time, and as such, it means they're going to put on an excellent show. So all will be exciting, and it's all left on the floor here, in Abu Dhabi, as always.
Abu Dhabi, 21 circuits of intensity. We have that second sector. Of course, the two very, very long straights. We have the straight coming from turn 7 hairpin all the way into turn 8, 9, and then coming through there we have the almost invisible turn 10 down into the 11, 12, 13, almost triple chicane. And we've seen so much action through that section of circuit this week. I would really like to see some more action through there. And this grid is very, very tight. And of course, we do have the dynamic weather setting. We are not we're not expecting rain. I don't think we're gonna get rain. It's Abu Dhabi, but I'll tell you something from experience, it's not unheard of. I have had a dynamic weather rain race in Abu Dhabi in league racing, so it has happened, but it is a very, 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 very small percentage. So we'll just have to see what happens here. Of course, full damage, strict corner cutting, short qualifying of 18 minutes and 50% distance, but it is time now to go racing here. Of course, in Abu Dhabi at the Yas Marina, the Yas Marina circuit here, Yas Island. And I'm very excited to see how all these racers come through all 21 turns here in qualifying.
Yeah, and as expected, it is dry, and if there's a track that no one practices at wet weather for, it's Abu Dhabi. It's, like you say, such a slim chance that you do see rain here. Not impossible, but so slim. And given our luck with the rain elsewhere this season, I wouldn't be surprised to see it appear here. Drift, we haven't had a lot of it over the course of season 4, but well, here we are in Abu Dhabi. It doesn't look like we're going to get any more today. 19 drivers, a fair few reserves here, including a couple from across the other divisions reserving. And like I say, you know, that's important in these last few weeks with the combined constructors that's taking place, of course.
Of course, if you haven't already gotten involved, there is a channel prediction going on right now as to whether or not we will see the Mercedes of Eruption acquire pole position back-to-back. That's always a good little fun thing you can participate in the chat, of course, and greatly appreciate everybody viewing along in the streams today. Again, my name is Stryfium here, and, well, it's Unicorn. And I, as always, for the finale here in Abu Dhabi. Just about a year ago, you and I were commentating Abu Dhabi for CFR. And, well, it's come full circle now here, and we have Wavy on the grid today. So, that's fitting.
Yeah, absolutely. And tomorrow we'll see, you know, who was ZZ9, obviously now Magnetar, run around here as well. That was such an exciting race. Obviously, Shenjay and Alex Bitter as well. They should be taking to the track as well tomorrow. But tonight, 19 drivers. Like I said, plenty of reserves, but 19 drivers nonetheless. We've got Max O'Connor in the Mercedes. Well, they need to score some points here to help Mercedes win the combined constructors against a Red Bull. We've got Mark there in second. Tuptus Azir, championship winner here in tier 2. Larsen, Scars, championship runner-up for the Alfa Romeo squad. Vincent Nyquist, he is reserving from tier 3 up into tier 2 here in the Williams, hoping to score some last points here in this combined constructors. Eruption, again, Mercedes, very important job today. Jake, he's back. He's reserving for Renault. Been a while since we've seen him here, but great to see him in the final race. Ben in the McLaren. Crampy, of course, P3 in the championship, and that's wrapped up as well. Rakti in 12th, Yar in 13th, Jean, Wavy, like you said, with that CFR tag there, a little bit of a throwback. Mammal, Swifty John, Husam, and Yasko reserving as well in the Red Bull, again up from tier 3 there. So a couple of drivers from tier 3 hoping to score points here. I do believe Ben has just started the first flying lap of the session, coming down now into turn 1.
Very flowing section of circuit, turn 1. As soon as you get out of that first turn, and once you come out of that first turn, you're just going to flow down now into this left right-hander, and then you're going to come into the hairpin. Once you're out of that hairpin, it's just full throttle all the way down right here, turn 7. Trying to find the traction. He's going to hammer it down. He's going to cross that DRS detection line, and he's going to spring the rear wing wide open, pushing himself down into 8-9. Now, this is a serious overtaking opportunity. However, if the drivers were to wait just an extra couple turns here, you will have another DRS opportunity. As we come out of turn 9, you're just going to touch through what we call turn 10 here, and then it is a serious push all the way into turn 11 and 12, following 13. You can see here, left, right, left. A little bit of a lockup on the front, left, and now he's going to utilize as much of the curbing as he can without unsettling the car too much and losing too much traction so that he can have a good exit here to come through 14. So very tight to the inside curbing. Very, very careful not to invalidate here. You can see how much of these curbs he is able to utilize, and it's now through 20. But he's taken too much. He's taken too much, Unicorn, just coming out of the penultimate turn. And that's going to sting a bit here. Tuptus crosses a 32.9. That's the first lap of the session. Scars.
Very, very unfortunate there for Ben. Scars 132.7, like you were just about to mention. A huge lap time already from him. Vincent on 133. Flat just ahead of Crampy. So Vincent with some nice pace. I know Crampy already stated not feeling confident coming into tonight's race. Max O'Connor P6 right now, 133.7. So about a second off of the current provisional pole. There goes Swifty on 133.3.
Vincent there in the Williams in a reserve capacity for the official squad today. Of course, we know him having fought Rutanius very well through the finale of Tier 3 in those final running races. Mammal in the Ferrari today. He is here in 6th position now at 133.309, but of course Vincent will be able to score points for the official constructor, different from how we see reserves normally, such as any driver who doesn't normally drive like Mammal. They would be a pirate today, so that can definitely present unique situations on track. We've seen it happen. Actually, surprisingly enough, Jake has had his fair share of run-ins with reserves over the course of the season when he was in a full-time capacity at Red Bull. We'll see how things play out for him and his reserve capacity for Renault today. Who was that crossing the line? I believe it was John, if not Husam. Husam there, 9th behind John at 33.382.
Yeah, exciting to see how Jake does here, you know, with the exception of Neon there. He's got, you know, the most points out of anyone who's no longer in the division or a reserve. So Jake, very, very capable. You know, a couple podiums to his name here. You know, Britain, Hungary, great form through there, as well as Monaco. So 3 podiums, not going to make, you know, a great run here. He's already back into the pits again. Maybe going for a potential medium lap at the end of things. It seems, you know, unlikely given the pace of the grid. You'd want to go for a soft run just to try and get up on that grid position. The tire strategy as well around here, 2 stop very much possible, 1 stop also available, so all sort of lands itself into what happens with safety cars, VSCs as well. That's something we've seen a lot of over the course of the week, the races that we have seen so far. VSCs are much more common than the full safety car, so we'll see how that plays into things. And obviously if you get a lot of VSCs, then it's much harder to get a good pit stop under one of those if you're at the wrong point of the circuit, and it can really, you know, mess it up a little bit for some drivers, whereas some might be a little bit closer to the pit lane and able to take a little bit of advantage. Doesn't happen for everyone.
I'm very excited to see how this grid lines up at the end of the qualifying session. Right now we see the separation, George, from 1st to 11th position is a second already. And if you look very close, it's actually even closer than that to 10th position, being that it's less than 7/10. If you look at the top 5, it's less than 4/10, and the top 3 is less than 2/10. So things, I'm talking about a lot of tight margins here on this grid today. And it's been like this all season long, but Abu Dhabi is a circuit where we can really see some action given the tightness of a grid. There's DRS opportunity, there's 90-degree turns coming through sector 3. I feel like there is some decent overtaking opportunity here in Abu Dhabi that we really don't have in these last few races. We saw Mexico, you have specific overtaking opportunities, turn 1 of course, turns 4 and 5, not a lot happening there. Brazil, sector 2 is you're pretty well deadlocked, and then it's just an exchange into turn 1 or turn 4. Here I think there's a little bit more to play with. We'll have to see. There's a little bit more strategy in overtaking as well when you think about, of course, coming through 8, 9 and then heading all the way into turn 11. So we'll have to see what all of these drivers choose to deploy. Yasko coming out of turn 7. He's in the Red Bull and he's looking quick.
Absolutely. You've got, you know, like you said, different points around this circuit that really do offer up a lot of side-by-side action. You can go side-by-side through a lot of the corners here, something that you can't really say, like you said, about Brazil, about Mexico. You know, you've got those S's in Mexico, you know, sector 2, like you mentioned, in Brazil. You can't go side-by-side through there. Obviously, there was an element of strategy last week with saving the ERS and such, and that sort of hinders overtaking, because some people, they don't want to overtake in the last few laps. They want to wait until the very last moment. Here, well, it's overtaking all the race long, because you've got a DRS zone and then into a DRS detection zone right before the next DRS zone. So you overtake someone into turn 8. You could very well have been re-overtaken by them down into turn 11. It is pretty unique in that fact, as Yasko now coming around into the final corner. We'll see how it plays into things. We've got just over 10 minutes left in the session, given we are a bit decent. Yasko 1:33.8, so not able to set a time faster than anyone else's, but he's pretty close to the rear of Max O'Connor there. And again, he's just here from tier 3, looking to score some important points for Red Bull with that combined constructors battle with Mercedes, ironically enough. He's just behind one of those.
Looking in with Jake right now. He's coming through Sector 3. He's in the Renault, of course, in the form of a Pirate today. We know him for his full-time drive in this division earlier this season for Red Bull. Top Tuss in the Racing Point, a 32.511 now, taking provisional pole back on over to the Renault, but a very nice run from, of course, him. Excuse me, another provisional pole change in Ben. Jake now coming out of turn 21. What's he able to do? He goes 7th quickest. Ben, Top Tuss, Scars, your top 3 in the qualifying session now.
Yeah, nice lap there from Ben, just sneaking himself into the top spot. Wasn't up there before, now sits, you know, head and shoulders, 1/10 clear of Top Tuss, and that's 3/10 clear of Scars, who's in P3. So a strong time, Scars, while he is flying. He's pretty early on in the lap. Yeah, we haven't seen a lap time from him. He is currently down in 19th place. Again, another reserve here tonight. In the other McLaren, his teammate for the evening, onto the top spot. Let's see what Yar can do about this as he rounds the final corner. McLaren opening it up to the line, and it's P5, so strong for him as well. 132.8 there.
Solid run there. Gasco on his way into the pit lane. Who else is coming through on a lap here? Eruption will move through with an improvement. He jumped Scars, and he is very tight to the rear of Top Tuss now. They are both on that 132.5 level, separated by just about, well, they are separated by 0.08 of a second at the moment, Top Tuss and Eruption. Everything very tight in this grid, all the way down to 14th now, separated by less than a second.
Well, there's Scars.
Oh yeah, you like to see it, the South African driver. He may not have his championship hopes alive anymore, but that P2 is firm and secured for him in the championship, and he is going to run away as best he can with as many podium finishes as he can after coming through in the finale, or the final end of the season, if you will, with a very strong form.
Yeah, it's probably going to sting if he does well here. Obviously, Mexico, that disconnect really just sort of hindered what was, you know, just a great run of podiums, and he continued that last week in Brazil. And currently, with the way qualifying's going, could do the same here, of course, with, you know, 132.3. Very, very, very nice time from the South African. His rival all season long, Vincent, right now, he's sat in 8th place, and well, last week out, you know, just sat in P5, was comfortable with that, wanted to just wrap up the championship, did so. And now, just again, looking to score some points for Williams in the combined constructors, sort of a last hurrah here. Again, everyone just, this is their last chance to battle each other. So, and around Abu Dhabi, we already said it, it's very, very allowing of that, very accommodating to overtake. So we will see a lot of hard racing. I imagine we've got just under 5 minutes now as the session winds down, and that means there'll be one more run for most of these drivers.
Azir is putting in a genuine stint on his soft compound tires. 6 laps he's ran on these, 143.4 his run right now, and curious to see what he does at the end of this session. But he just seems to be cruising right now, trying to work on some consistency potentially.
It's, you know, he is the champion, so he doesn't really need the points there. I think I just got Vincent and Azir confused with the Williams seats there, so apologies for that. But that's a bizarre start. 143.4 his fastest lap so far, and he's invalidated right now. He's 5.3 seconds up as he comes through into sector 3. It's a very wild plan that he's actually right now. Swifty's on a lap on the mediums, but it's invalid, so not going his way right now. He is in 11th though. If he could stay there, I'm sure he wouldn't be too disheartened by that at all.
Wavy just in front of him flying as well, coming through 8 and 9, and Mark, of course, going by Elite QQ on the timing tower. He is flying, coming through 8-9 now as well. Trying to hold tight through turn 11, 12, 13. A bit of a shake on the rear there.
You want to get traction out of that corner, you know, down to a T. There's a sort of way you finalize a move if you're still side by side through 11, 12, 13. Coming out of 14, whoever gets the traction down better is going to be the victor in that one. So very important corner to make sure that you have down right. A bit of a slide as he comes through the final corner, and there it is, P7 all the way with 132.9.
Very solid run from him there. Jump to Mark. Mark moved it into the pit lane. Hussein
Ben,
flying.
he was on provisional pole.
Oh, yeah, Ben. He's flying. Just coming through Jake there on an outlap. And he'll be looking to improve a 32.4. He's already found a little bit through sector 1. We move back real quick to Husam as he's just in front. Who else can we find who's closer to setting a time here? I do not believe anyone is about to cross. Unless, excuse me, Yasko. No, he will not be crossing with any kind of improvement. So Husam is the lead runner to potentially improve, and he has so far shown improvement in this lap according to the sector split that just came up on our screens. We'll see what he breaks through here in sector 2. So he is improving, and this could net him an improvement to as far as 11th position, considering he can find something in sector 3.
Time to be had there in that final sector, especially that double left-hander coming through 18, 19. You can really find a lot of time there if you've, you know, messed it up on a previous lap time.
Here we go.
Through the final corner.
No improvement. He lost it. He dropped it in that third sector.
Ben lost it too. He lost. It's an almost identical time, but no improvement for either driver. It's rare that you don't see, you know, fairly large improvement at this stage. Eruption's on for a bit of an improvement in the Mercedes, which, given Ben's misfortune there, could see him jump onto that front row. Tuptus as well as flying. Started in the racing point. And of course, Scars as well has just crossed the line. Start his lap. And Crampy's ahead of him. Crampy on a flyer. So I can't imagine that they're planning a tow here, but
Azir retiring in that car, so last to first challenge potentially for the Williams champion.
well, it won't be lost to first. And if Larsen fails to set a time here, he is on a flyer in the AlphaTauri. But no time set for him yet.
We know he's a very quick and capable driver, Larsen. It would be a shock to see him fail to set a run here in Tier 2. And he'll come now through the final turn to the line. What's it going to be? He will set a time, putting a 0 to the back. It's good for 16th, and that is Mark and him, 15, 16 for the AlphaTauris.
Tuptus has just invalidated his run, so no improvement for the Racing Point. That is him. Crampy's done the same. So now this opens the door up. Well, I was going to say for Yar, but he's invalidated too. Invalidation's coming through thick and fast. His Scars. Well, he's got a bit of an opportunity here, but he messes up as well.
Yeah, that was a
as he comes through to 17.
That was a big loss there for him.
Well, Mammal, Vincent, can they take advantage of this? Vincent will cross before. As he comes through into the penultimate turn. The Tier 3 driver, a bit of an opportunity here to pick up some late place positions in the grid. Goes into P8. Mammal, well, he's invalidated as well. He comes straight into the pit lane. Max O'Connor, can he do anything here? Currently sat in 13th position. Again, great opportunity to pick up some late places as he comes through the final corner, and he just gets Swifty there for P12. But my, that was a very dramatic end.
Mark also invalidated. So many drivers here having issues on their final runs, just pushing that extra little bit, trying to find that extra, well, that extra time, and it's unfortunately costed a variety of drivers here. What a qualifying session. The gap in this grid, very tight. First and second separated by 0.02 of a second. To fourth, it's about a tenth. To 10th position, it's about 0.6. This is the Tier 2 Misfits Racing League division. Oh, it's the 22nd round, Unicorn. It's the finale, and these races get in. Oh, they are so action-packed, I find. Thank you so much to everybody tuning in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great. You know, you got Scars up there, still trying to prove that he could have been champion. Obviously, had connection issues that plagued him in that title fight, and, you know, potentially cost him it as well, but we'll never know, sadly. Ben as well. What a way to mark your, you know, standpoint. He debuted for full-time seat in McLaren last week, came 7th in Brazil. He qualified 7th as well. As a reserve, his best qualifying was Mexico P4. Now starts on the front row for the first time. Would be great to see him get his first podium, you know, of the season. Very, very capable driver, and for McLaren now scoring points, they'll be very happy with him, and as well as Eruption for Mercedes. Very important fight that they're in as well. So the AMG team, very, very happy, I imagine, with the Austrian there. But Scars, Ben, Eruption, Tuptus, Crampy, your top 5 again, the 2 Alfa Romeos. Crampy not confident coming into this one, but still getting P5 here in qualifying. Then we have Ya Santiago there in 6th. We've got Jean, Vincent, Wavy, and Mammal rounding out the top 10. We'll go through the rest of the grid in a moment here, but a great qualifying session can only lead to a great race drift.
Couldn't agree with you more, and I think that Abu Dhabi, having given us already 3 amazing races now, including the Americas Tier 2 division, we are really, really ramping up to some intensity through this week. Of course, we have Tier 1 tomorrow. We have the APAC division on Sunday, following with that Formula 2 to wrap up all of the great racing for all of the great divisions this season. But really, Tier 2 and Tier 1, they've shown us such great racing all season long, just as Tier 3 did yesterday. And of course, really all the grids. You know, we can't really single too many out. We don't want to play too many favorites. But of course, Tier 2, just stellar racing. We've seen some very, very serious, dramatic races as well. And I don't think this one will be any different here in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, for sure. Countdown has just come to a close. The formation lap in full swing now. And let's have a look, see what those guys outside the top 10 have gone for. And it's interesting here. You've got the top 10, of course, on soft. Then Jake in 11th has gone for the soft as well. Usually that P11 is coveted, so you can start on the mediums as high up as possible whilst still qualifying on the soft, but hasn't gone for it. Everyone else on the mediums, so it's a pretty even split, soft mediums. But Scars again on pole here in Tier 2. Ben starts on the front row for the first time. Eruption, Tuptus, Crampy, the top 5. Ya, Jean, Vincent. Reserving from Tier 3, great qualifying result here, P8 for the Williams driver. Wavy reserving in P9 with the TFR tag. It's a bit of a throwback. Great race there, about like a year ago, like you said. Hopefully he can have a similarly entertaining race for himself here in Tier 2. Mammal rounds out the top 10. Again, another reserve for the evening. Jake starts on the soft as well. He starts 11 though, obviously. Full-time Red Bull driver, stepped down from his seat, now back in the final round in the Renault. Then we have the start of the medium runners. Max O'Connor in the Mercedes, Swifty in the Red Bull, Husam in the Haas. The 2 Alpha Tauri start 15th, 16th. It's Mark ahead of Larsen. Then Yasko starts 17th, Rakati in 18th, and Azir, the division champion, starts last in P19. We'll see what he is capable of doing from there. The strategies around here: you can 2-stop, you can 1-stop. Both pretty viable. And with the mediums as a starting tire, very, very flexible strategy as well. Just depends when the safety cars or the VSCs, which seems to be pretty popular around here, rear their heads. Also, we have a bit of a split in the grid, it would seem, Striff. The likes of Husam and Mark are dropping back a bit from the rest of the pack, but this is just a formation lap. And racing will be, get ready once all these drivers are on the grid, and they've just started the formation now.
Very, very intense race about to unfold here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, welcome and thank you for tuning in. My name is Striffium. Joining me from the UK is Unicorn. Share the stream, tell your friends. it is Scars and Ben on the front row of this grid. Eruption in third, Tuptus in fourth, and Crampy, the other Alfa Romeo, bringing out the top 5 as we get ready to go racing here in the Yas Marina circuit.
Well, there we are. We got 5 red lights here on in Abu Dhabi. The light sequence has gone out, obviously for us, but not for the drivers. But there it is. We are away here for the finale of Tier 2. And Ben has had a rocket launch. Scars, he's gone completely dead off the line. Locks up into turn 1 as well. Loses out to the first 2 positions. Yar here could find him on the inside of turn 2 as well in the McLaren. Doesn't quite sneak past Wavy, Vincent. They're side by side. Vincent's dropped 2 places as well. Yar, Scars now side by side, little bit of contact between the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo. The McLaren gets tapped from behind by Eruption, and Eruption sneaks past around the outside as they come into the hairpin in turn 7. He's still looking for the position here. Can he find P4? No, he can't. Both drivers using ERS here as they come out of the corner, but not going to work for either. Jean on the rear, Crappy not finding anything there, and Mammal dropping off a little bit. Back to Eruption and Yar though, still side by side. The Mercedes on the inside as they come into 8 and 9. Obviously no DRS to fight for yet, but again, just can't find his way past the McLaren, and he's still stuck here in P5, and they're burning ERS off at a rapid rate. Both drivers have already used over half their battery. A bit of a lunge for Eruption on the inside. This time he is ahead. Can he stay ahead? Yes, he can. So finally getting the move done there on the McLaren.
These two need to get focused here, George. Look at the gap to Scars. They cannot be fooling around right now. This is a circuit where if they lose this train, they are going to drop, and there's going to be a lot of pissed off drivers in this train as well about that. And of course, here goes Jake and Swifty wheel to wheel now. They're playing through Sector 3. They have, of course, Mark and Azir on the rear of them. Azir has moved up 4 positions. He's into 15th already. And he's doing a very good job here. Ben, of course, leading this race now ahead of Tuptus, not by far. Scars is in 3rd. Eruption just dancing in and around that 1 second range here of Scars. He's got Yar on his rear, and the gaps and intervals still giving us a moment before they give us an appropriate picture. Vincent on the rear of Wavy. Everybody looking very tight coming through the first sector now as we come into the hairpin. Down the long straight we go. Hughes, Sam, and Larson. They have exchanged.
Yeah, first lap, very, very intense, and very clean as well. Very clean, no incidents there. A lot of side-by-side action, but no severe contact as we come through, and
a lot of positions have been shuffled already here on the second lap, and ERS hasn't even been enabled yet, Unicorn.
Yeah, and that just, we already mentioned it, but down those 2 DRS straights is absolutely incredible. Yeah, already, Jeff, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. You do not want to be picking one of those up on lap 2. Very, very early.
Here we go, Wavy, Mammal. Things are tight between the pair of them as Mammal is on the rear of Jean. Everyone tight in formation in this train right now. Swifty very close to the rear of Jake. There's a differential in tires as Jake has dropped from 11th to 12th on the softs. Another penalty has been picked up by Wavy this time around. And those 3-second time penalties are just going to cost and cost and cost the more you pick up through this 28-lap campaign. Eruption secures the fastest lap of the campaign so far. However, he is 1.1 seconds off of Scars. DRS has just been enabled. Crampy on the rear of Yar. He's looking for it into the left right before the hairpin, and of course nothing doing through 5 and 6, but we'll have to see what Crampy's got in him coming down that long straight. Where's Scars? He's not utilizing too much battery just yet. Tuptus. Ben, do we see an exchange here? The racing point for lead up the inside of the Mercedes a little bit later on the brakes. Tight, tight, tight. The front's on the inside of that McLaren. Ben, a very nice hold. However, Tuptus sticking nice and tight. We'll have DRS again. Swifty and Jake exchanging. Back to Tuptus. Here he goes down the outside this time for the racing point. Ben with a solid defense hold on the inside. He's going to push back through. Holding, squeezing as well. A little bit of contact. That brings Tuptus out of shape. Scars is there to try and pick it up. Oh, this is getting really intense now as these risks and these opportunities start to come through.
Well, this is starting to patch the whole strip between the drivers that we were seeing drop off. You know, Scars, well, he closed up, but then got caught behind them in that battle. Couldn't find a way through. You saw it, you know, coming out of 13 through 14. That caught Eruption up, and then Yara's caught up as well. That brings the DRS train all the way now from first down through to 7th. Whereas it was, you know, sort of just 1, 2, and 3. Now, much more people brought into the fight for potential podium slots here. Again, Crampy's starting to drop off a little bit, but he can burn a little bit of battery here to try and stay with them, and he is doing so, down to 20% already. For the young Brit, Eruption very, very tight to the rear of Scars here, who's just all over the gearbox of Tuptus. Let's see what happens as they come out of the hairpin. Ben, well, he's doing quite well to push away. Max O'Connor, Jake, they exchange to the hairpin. The Renault up into P11, but back to the front fight. Eruption, the closest gap. They come down. I don't think there's going to be an exchange into turn 8, and there isn't. Scars, a little bit of a lock up there for the Alpha Romeo. Azir, Max O'Connor, they're side by side into the corner. Azir looking for his 7th move of the evening, and he has found it. Max O'Connor getting a little bit sideways. Ben, Tuptus, they exchange. Tuptus much earlier this time around the outside, but he does get that move done. It does work. Eruption a bit hot on the brakes, almost running into the rear. Scars avoids contact though, and the South African will be very thankful that he did.
Swifty very tight to the rear of Max. Max right now getting a little bit loose, coming out of turn 13 through 14. Now Swifty on the inside says, I don't care if you want to get that car corrected. I need positions. Moving through into 13th now, the Red Bull. That was tight, but he is there.
Yeah, Max O'Connor just seems to be, you know, not feeling like he is really struggling. You saw it when Azir came past him down through, you know, out of turn 9. This car was sideways again. Here, there's a yellow flag. Larson's out. Larson is
What has happened?
Coming out of 18. And it looked like he was on his own, so I don't think there's any contact. He's just crashed the car. See if anything comes of that. No VSC or safety car sparked as of right now, and that car has been cleared, so I doubt we'll see one. But very, very bizarre there.
Very, very unfortunate for him. Unfortunate when your race comes to an early end like that, and the grid separation right now all the way down to Rackety is 11.5 seconds. If you blink in this grid, if you make any kind of mistake, you are going to be in immediate trouble. And we've already seen some of these drivers pouncing on opportunities just like that. Azir, he has made up, well, 7 positions from where he began. Now his teammate for, well, in the combined, of course, his tier 3 teammate Vincent hunting down Wavy.
Yeah, very, very tight between these two. No exchange yet, but again, looks like it'll be coming in the next 2 laps. Mammal as well. He's a little bit vulnerable there in the Ferrari. Get another reserve there. All 3 of these drivers reserving, only 1 for their team, like you said. Vincent coming through. And they've got another reserve, Jake, behind them, but they've got the championship winner now, Azir, on their tail. Larson coming across in the chat. He crashed as a result of a screen freeze, so very, very unfortunate, but no, these things do happen, and we hate to see an early retirement, especially in the finale as well. But been a great season from Larson.
Azir on those mediums now, making up so many positions already. Pushing very well through this grid, has caught up with Jake, and these softs are going to start to degrade, of course, in a few more laps time, giving Azir a potential edge here. Vincent Nyquist nearly into the rear of Wavy. Jake's here on the rear as well. Things are very tight. DRS for all of these drivers. Mammal is a little bit of a break in the chain, as is Crampy and John. They have their own little pairing. And then we have Tuptus down through to Yar.
Vincent got Azir, sorry, got very close there.
Oh no, Mark, excuse me, this has been a big issue. Mark, it would appear, going for an overtake on Yasko, went into Max O'Connor. Now it's Yasko on the rear of Mark. Now there's been a little bit of a shake. Yasko switching off to the right-hand side. brushing that rear end of the AlphaTauri. Who's that? Rackety is up the inside of the pair of them, and Rackety's into 14th position. Yasko is under threat still. Max O'Connor and Mark now. Mark has lost not a position just to Yasko, but to Max O'Connor as well.
Yeah, Mark also suffering from some technical difficulties.
Screen freezes.
So, an issue that's plagued a lot of people in this game, and well, it seems he's affected right now. Max O'Connor just got sideways again. Put him under a little bit of pressure. Looks like he's gone wide as well. Mark, though, looks like he's going to dive into the pit lane, and he does. So he is getting out of there and into the pit lane. One thing I was going to mention before that all kicked off, the Sots now shift will start to die off, and Azir, he's already gained 7 positions in this race, is on a rear of a train full of softs, and here he goes on the inside of Jake. Doesn't find it. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. Little bit impatient there. Wasn't quite enough space. Has to use the curb. Picks up a warning as a result. Ben on the rear of Tuptus as well for leader things. The McLaren. Well, he's going to swoop past on the inside here, and it should be fairly uncontested from the racing point, and it is. Tuptus will have a go at him down into turn 11. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, they've got the drivers behind them as well to worry about.
It's just a massive train, and you can see it on the way into turn 11 now. Jean dispatching Crampy. Mammal 1.7 seconds on the rear of the Alfa Romeo. That's all Ferrari power 6, 7, and 8 right now.
Couple of love taps down into turn 11 for the leaders. Tuptus at the rear of Ben, and Scars at the rear of him as a result, but no damage, it would seem, for any of them. Swifty and Rackety have just exchanged. Swifty and Jake, sorry. Jake getting past there on the Red Bull, but again, the soft runners, their tires will start to die off at this stage of the race. Pace will start to drop in comparison to the mediums.
Ooh, Swifty just took a 3-second time penalty, and he's on the rear of Jake. I think it might have been Azir that overtook Jake. We saw that, and now Jake, the soft, starting to potentially betray him a bit. Tuptus and Ben, excuse me, hold the phone. Tuptus through on the inside into turn 1. Ben now, he's going to want to push back through here. We're coming into turns 5 and 6. We saw now Jake and Azir battle through there. Azir picking up that 3-second time penalty. Crampy just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And we look at the penalties. Yar has 9 seconds. Crampy has 3. Wavy, Vincent, 3. Azir, 3. Lots of penalties on this grid right now. We'll take a look at them again later on in the campaign. Azir now in the rear of his teammate, getting a little bit of a slingshot. Does he take 2 here? Wavy. I don't think Vincent has the... Well, Azir, excuse me. Oh, he's going to go a little bit later. Wavy there on the rear of Mammal. That could have been very bad had he not been able to get that car slowed down. And now there goes Yar on the inside of Eruption for P4 through turns 11, 12, and now 13. A little bit of wheel banging here. Eruption holding it.
Azir as well all over the rear of Wavy. Can he find a way through? Wavy a little bit sideways coming out of 14, and Azir swoops around the outside coming through 15. And a great move there from the Williams to take advantage of Wavy's mistake.
Swifty and Jake. Hold the phone. Sorry to interrupt you there. Swifty and Jake. Swifty got Jake. Jake with a very, very close opportunity for a switchback. And now we're seeing Jean on his way into the pit lane. Jake starting to find some lockups through turn 21 here. There's been a big spin. There goes Wavy. He's crooked it out of the final turn. He's gone into the wall, and that's a safety car on lap 9. Oh my, what did we just witness on board with Jake?
That is unbelievable. Big crash there, and safety car is deployed, not a VSC. And well, Jean, he's just pitted and is now ahead. He's literally in front of the safety car as they come out of the tunnel. Obviously, the pit lane exit here comes under the track. Depending on where he lands this, he could be P1 at the end of this lap, just based upon when that safety car came out right behind him. Obviously, the leaders have passed the safety car. They'll be in this lap, so they won't lose too much time here. And I imagine it will be into the pit lane for a lot of the drivers right now. Especially the soft runners. But even if you're a medium runner, I expect them to get off of their current compounds. Switch it up.
Well, that has really taken an already intense pressurized race, and it's really kind of thrown a monkey wrench into the equation. Now everybody's going to get bunched up. Now these drivers all nursing their tires, working with strategies. Of course, Azir now, he's made up so many positions, and he's going to be able to come in right with these soft runners, and this has really worked in his favor and Swifty's favor. Any of these medium runners, I think they're going to be able to get in with these soft runners and just stick with where they've already gained their positions when those tires began to drop off. The question is, what tires does everybody switch around to?
Well, if you're a soft runner, I think the clear choice is the medium. Get that tire rule out of the way, so if we do get another safety car of the sort, you know, you can get onto whatever suits the situation at that time. The mediums will go a little bit longer. If you're a medium runner, again, same thing sort of applies. Get onto the softs. You should be able to do medium, soft from here. And I imagine that's what the likes of Azir and Swifty will probably do. Although Swifty looks like he's gone for another set of the mediums. So
here comes John. John P4 after his pit stop. And that is just huge. That is just massive for the Haas.
Yeah, started 7th, now sitting in 4th place. He'll be happy with this one. Right. He went for the undercut, and he found it as a result of the safety car following out of the pit lane. So, a bit lucky on the timing there for the Haas driver, but he'll be happy nonetheless that he did gain the positions here. Most other people not really getting shuffled around too much. Azir in P8 right now is a great place to be. Only one soft runner ahead of him. He should have a bit of a pace advantage. He has won this division. We know he's got pace in that Williams. Would not be surprised if he was able to sneak his way onto the podium here tonight. Jeff, he's in the points well and truly. That other strategy working out quite nicely for him so far. But we'll probably be going around here once more, I would imagine, just to let the likes of Sam and Yasko catch up.
We look at the tires now, everybody on fresh rubber, and the majority of the field on those yellow medium compound tires. Wavy now leaving the session after that unfortunate incident. And now we've got 4 drivers on the softs, the 2 drivers on hards, the rest of the grid on these mediums. The hards is an interesting tire, and I'm really curious to see how it goes in this. See if there's another safety car.
I think, like I said, we will be going around once more. And you don't like to see these particularly long safety cars, but you know, the drivers, they always complain, you know, sort of takes you out of the rhythm.
Definitely.
Well, they would have been finding the eruptions back into the pit lane. No, sorry, yeah. It's a bold call. And I can see why you'd want to do it as well.
Mediums to the end.
They just get rid of that compound rule. He does lose a lot of track position as a result, though. And he might get stuck now in a bit of traffic, a bit of battling. There's only 2 cars behind him. We know, you know, Max O'Connor's been struggling, you know, sliding out of a few corners. We know Mark's been having a few screen freezes. They've been at the back of this grid. And now Yar is right behind them. I can understand why he's made the decision. I don't know whether I'd necessarily advise that. So, you know, if I was Azir, you can see him sticking out there. But we'll see whether it works out for him, obviously. Slightly fresher mediums. They will go to the end, I think.
Let us know what you think.
They will go to the end.
Let us know what you think in the chat about the strategies. Of course, we want to know who you've got for the race win and on the podium. Do you think we're going to see another safety car? I think we just might. I always say safety cars create more safety cars, and we've seen some crazy races in the past few rounds of MRL. Of course, I think back to Brazil last week when we had some very, very serious action happening on race restarts. Some collisions and things like this. These final races really do bring out a different mentality, a very aggressive, intense mentality. There's pressure. Everybody wants to get in as many points as they can, finish on a high. Race control now, Unicorn telling us that it is time, and that safety car is on its way in.
Well, and that's what we all want to see. We want to get back to that green flag racing. Tuptus getting ready to launch away here, warming up the tires. Most drivers on the mediums. Azir here, well, he's on the softs. He will have the advantage as they spring out back into action. The only problem he might have is if Tuptus decides to go before turn 20. He is slowing it down quite a lot just to try and let the safety car run away a little bit, but he won't be able to go too early. And the safety car obviously needs to be back in the pit lane. Building the pace back up now in the racing point. But here we go, getting things ready. He's going to go after the corner, it would seem. Lining himself up for a good exit. He keeps the warm-up going, though. And he's caught a few people off there. Not Scars, though. Scars, a great charge down the inside on Ben into turn 1. Ben, though, defends the position with a late braking, and nice defense there from the McLaren driver. Eruption Jean, they're challenging him down too. Jean might have a little bit of a look here down into turn 5. Doesn't get that one done. Eruption's very close to the rear, though, and that's going to let Crampy through there side by side as they come through 5 and 6 into the hairpin at 7. And Crampy through on the inside. Great move there to take advantage of Eruption's mistake. Does this let Azir through? Azir on the better compound attire right now. He is on the fresh softs. He's had a lot of pace so far this evening. Can he get another position here?
Oh, he's pushing with that battery. He's really hammering the battery. Eruption on the rear of John here. There's been an issue. Eruption in the rear. I don't know if he went into John or if he caught Crampy there, but he's definitely taking damage. Azir's going to slide through. A mammal now is going to weave his way through all of this commotion, and Swifty is hunting down the Mercedes as well. Sitting duck is Eruption here, coming into turn 11.
Well, Eruption, like I said, very important battle between Red Bull and Mercedes here as we get into the Jake into the rear of him.
That is not good for the Renault Reserve, as of course Eruption with the damage, having to slow it down a little bit earlier than Jake is expecting. He takes damage. They're wheel to wheel there and really going for it, and Vincent's on the rear of all of it.
This is unbelievable, you know, Eruption now. He might not even be able to score points with this. He's into the pit lane here. Tuptus fastest lap of the race there for the racing point. But, yeah, bad luck there for Eruption. Just went deep. I think he hit the front right of Crampy. So lucky that, you know, Crampy and him didn't go into a, you know,
Rackety.
Nice conjoined spin.
Hold the phone. Vincent gets Jake. Rackety, Yar, wheel to wheel on the rear of Jake now. There goes Yar. Holding everything he's got against the Renault. Jake now, not any options versus the McLaren. It's his teammate for the evening on the softs behind him. He pulls off wide and he lets Rackety through.
He goes to 0 on Crampy, looking for it down the inside into turn 8. And now easiest to like down the straight, doesn't even wait for the corner. He is already ahead in that Williams. He wants to make sure he keeps within 1 second of the car in front. Here goes Yar. Again, another move. This time around the outside. It's also Williams. Vincent, reserving from Tier 3, currently in the points for his constructor. And he might even be able to get a little bit of a revenge move here on the McLaren as they charge down towards turn 11. He looks to the inside and late on the brakes for him and sweeps back through. Great defense here from Vincent. They're losing time to the front train, but, well, they're looking to hold on to the final points. Well, also worth noting, Ben has dropped out of DRS range at Tuptus. It will be re-enabled this lap as they cross the line. And this is great news for the German up in P1.
What a wild restart this has been. It's really been action-packed. And I don't know what to say about all of the commotion that we saw there. Eruption having his issue there, and it's just not what you like to see, of course, but what a dynamic race. What a dynamic race.
This could cost him. And does Azir find a way through? He's already looked to try and favor the move down into turn 5. Hasn't found a way through. Might have taken a bit too much to the inside there without going for the lunge.
Well, if Jean's slow and Azir has the pace, he cannot wait around here. Look at Crampy. He is there, and he's sticking well. Here goes Azir. Just clean by.
Look at the gap ahead, Griff. He hasn't got DRS on Scars down into turn 11. This is bad news.
It is bad news because as a soft runner, you want to make sure that you're within that train, because if you fall out of it while those tires are continuing to degrade much quicker, it's not good. Yar now Vincent in exchange. Ben and Scars, excuse me, they exchange Scars. Pushing through into second position. Azir now, if these two start to battle, that will be good. Swifty, Mammal, Vincent, Yar. Everyone's fighting right now. However, there's a little bit of separation between the two pairs, about 3 seconds. Sam and Max O'Connor exchanging, and there's just exchanging all throughout this timing tower and throughout this circuit right now. You love to see it. I imagine everyone's having a pretty intense race, pretty intense time.
Yeah, I think whoever we have in the commentary booth after this one for interviews is going to have their fair share to say. After this, it's going to be... No, we're only halfway through. There is still plenty of laps to go. Here goes Yar looking on the outside of turn 1 on Vincent. Doesn't have a look up there. He closes the door. Keeps the McLaren behind for the time being. Great defense right now from the tier 3 driver. Yar, of course, also a reserve today. Not from another division, though. Here he goes up the inside into turn 5. Does he find the move? Ooh. Cuts the corner. There's 3 seconds. He has picked up quite a few of those today and doesn't get the move done either.
Well, we saw Jake earlier. He was defending, and we saw... I can't recall exactly who it was at the moment. It's gonna haunt me now, but defending that person on the outside there, it can really push them into a penalty.
There they go. Yar finally getting up into P9. Does Vincent get back past, though?
Mark getting ahead of Max O'Connor. Mark looked for a cheeky switch back on the inside, but got on the brakes a little bit more. Has to not go on it. Here goes Vincent again with Yar. In this battle, Vincent, Yar, and him just... They don't want to keep fighting and fighting and fighting. The longer they fight, the more time they lose. There goes Yar. Very wide. Rackety's on the rear of this now. Vincent's through into 9th. Rackety's looking for a move. He gets on the brakes.
I don't know if Yar had to get the position back there. Really went wide, like you said. And I wonder whether that was because when he was fighting Vincent through 11 and 12, he had to go off the track there. Maybe got an illegal overtake by the game. Who knows though? Jean in P5. He's feeling pressure now from Crampy in a world of their own already after the restart. Things broken down a bit more quickly than they did at the start of the race. Tire difference will be helping with that. You know, Azir, he's not been catching at all. He is 1.6 seconds behind. His tires already start to find their way to the end of their life cycle. He will be back in again. You can imagine for another set of softs.
A lot of penalties coming through here. Azir, he has 6 seconds in penalties. We're watching Crampy now push. He's looking for Jean. He's going to get Jean. He's on the inside as we come into turn 8. The Haas looking to turn in there, but of course the Alfa Romeo is already neatly alongside, and that will be a move for Crampy. Jean, however, he's going to have a ton of pace and a ton of speed to try and get a switchback, and he will get that back into 5th. And we'll see if Crampy has another opportunity to crack at him later on in the lap, or if it will just have to be a different approach. Sam dispatches Jake as Yar and Vincent continue their duel. Vincent and Yar, a little bit of off-roading there.
Yeah, and Rackety's been on the rear of all this. His tires, again, just like as is, will be starting to find their way to the end of their life cycle, but really still able to keep up with these guys. A potential point still on the table for him. Penalties. Stumbling. Oh, got another yellow flag. This time it's Eruption not having the best luck ever since we restarted this race. After the safety car of a Mercedes, this is bad news. They came into this, the team behind Red Bull in the championship. Now not looking too confident to re-establish a lead that they had.
Well, we talk about rhythm. You mentioned it, and sometimes those safety cars, especially the longer form safety cars here around the circuit, the longer lap, can really just upset the rhythm that a driver wants to find in their race.
Yeah, things starting to spread out a little bit now as we get into, you know, the part where the likes of Azir, Rackety, Mark's got 9 laps on those softs. That's quite the length of time to have gone on those, you know. Jean there on 7-lap on mediums. For Husam and Mark, that means they didn't come in with the safety car, which is a bold choice to me, Shift, because he's on the softs. He would have got off those by now, but he's got Yasko on his inside, and here goes the Red Bull driver, reserving from tier 3. He's out of the points, but he's here for P13, and he just gets as does Max O'Connor. Sneaks up the inside of Mark. Does he find it on Yasko as well? No, he doesn't. But just slipped it there up the inside. Brilliant move from Max O'Connor. Seems to be a bit more comfortable as he's on the hard now. And well, as I say it, there goes his end plate.
Well, Mark.
Well, it's not his end plate. It's Mark's end plate.
Yeah, well, Mark rear-ended him there, and there was a bit of an issue. Now, Eruption is struggling. Yeah, Mark really not having a good time in this Alpha Tower at the minute. And he is going to find his way into the pit lane, and it's unfortunate for him. I believe he's been dealing with some technical issues throughout the course of these 18 laps.
And like we said, when, you know, Larson retired, not something you want drivers to be dealing with, especially in the last race of the season. You want to go out with a bang, not the kind that ends, you know, like Larson with a crash into the wall, but more just some exciting on-track action. Mammal, City John, speaking of exciting on-track action, Mammal sneaking past there, the Red Bull. Reserve driver doing pretty nice.
Very clean drive there, or very clean overtake, we'll say, for Mammal, and that 7th position is his now. A little bit of separation forming throughout the grid on these mediums. A little bit of a differential in strategy coming out with that safety car now. A lot of drivers getting in at the same time. You can see the position changes have been quite wild. Azir now, he's on these soft compound tires. He's gone for now 8 laps, and of course we'll see what his choices are. He's the only driver in the top 10 on softs, and these will not go to the end.
I think he'll come in a lap or two for another set. You know, to put nine laps on these, 8 laps to the end. Seems like the cut and dry strategy for me maybe goes, you know, 1 lap more because they were preserved a bit under the safety car if he wants to. But for me, I would, you know, come in, get another set of softs on, and just see how far he can push up. He started last for a reason. He wants overtakes. He got overtakes in the early portion. He got some positions with the safety car strategy. Now he's got the opportunity to do it all over again. Get on another fresh set of softs. The mediums are only going to get slower as time progresses. Oh, well, that's it. He's got the pace. He's won the championship. Now he's just looking for some overtaking fun, and well, hopefully it looks good on camera as well. So we'll just see how the last 2 laps unfold for the Spaniards. Speaking of Spaniards, Yar Santiago around. Yellow flags are being waved. He's not crashed out. He is getting that car turned around. I'm trying to have a look at damage on the McLaren. Looks like there is some. He is definitely missing a left end plate at the very least. I think it just is. It just is an end plate, but not good news for him at all. Probably pit to the end for softs and a fresh wing. Pulling out of the way there.
Very unfortunate circumstance for him. Tuptus now, Scars still battling here. Tuptus 7/10 ahead of the South African.
I guess is it into the pit lane. So we're about to get his hard charge showcased in just a moment. It looks like he will exit in the points. So I'm sure he'll be thrilled with that. So whatever happens, points are still on the table. Santiago calling it in the pits there. Ending his session early for the McLaren. Obviously reserving here, but unfortunately once more to see another driver out of this one. He becomes the 3rd retirement. We started with 19 drivers. We dropped down to 16.
Unfortunate, but you know, I understand at this point in the race when you've had such a dynamic and intense race, that for that to happen, it's just there's not much that can be done at this phase to really bring yourself back into that position.
Yeah, and with the damage, you know, he would have been on softs, but he would have likely been too far back. Would have needed another safety car. Possible that we get one still. Lap 20 out of 28. But, you know, just waiting. Things Azir, another penalty for the Spaniard.
9.
We'll see. You know, he's got the fresh tires, Chef, but even with his pace, even with the tires, I just don't see him getting too many positions gained now that he's got that penalty. Eruption, Jake, they exchange down through into turn 11. Eruption ahead in the Mercedes. Mercedes out of the points here. Red Bull on to score a few if Swifty keeps up his performance, and that will extend their lead at the top of the combined constructors. Azir, well, makes his first position. It's on Husam, who's into the pit lane in the Haas.
Up Tussin Scars still engaged. Ben 1.8. John quite far behind the trio of cars on the podiums.
And the top 4 clear of penalties. Crampy, the only driver in the top 5 with one. And well, here he goes. He puts himself into P4 on track. Past John. There's a problem. I think it's Mark. It is. He's getting back on track in the AlphaTauri after bringing up the yellow flags in Sector 1. No visible damage on his car, but Crampy ahead into P4.
Crampy coming into this race, if I'm not mistaken, not too confident. Well, he's showing us a good performance here in 4th position now. He'll be looking to break away from John. He needs to develop a gap, however, of 6 seconds, given he's got some penalties. Eruption and Jake continuing their duel.
A lot of these, you know, will be to the line now. Laps starting to count down. We're in the single digits. 6 to go. After this one, Swifty into the pit lane. He's getting onto the softs. He will drop to Azir, so another position there for the Spaniard.
Wonder if Eruption's going to take Jake here into turn 1 or not. He's trying, but of course Jake a little bit of a better tire at the moment. Not enough right now.
And it won't be too long until that soft drops off either. You know, Eruption's mediums, though, fairly old. They will go to the end, but, you know, they will be, you know, dying out. But Jake's softs, if he takes those to the end, we'll be feeling awful at the tail end of things.
Things really settling down now. Just trying to get a sense of where everything is going on. And, well, things really quiet to the point where, well, we're going to need to see some of these softs come alive.
Lifty might have an opportunity on Rackety in the next few moments. The Red Bull, like you say, on those softs that they'll be hoping on. Rackety's on fairly fresh mediums, though, so if you could just hold off, might have a little bit of extra pace at the end of things compared to Swifty. Cars as well, hanging tight to the rear of Tuptus, using a bit more ERS, though, than the Racing Point. Here goes Swifty, though, out of turn 7, looking for a position here, trying to get himself back into the points, making a calculated risk here on the softs. And around the outside he goes of the Renault. Fairly simple move. The softs should give him a nice bit of pace advantage as they come through here. 8, 9, and out, of course, through 10. Max O'Connor there ahead of them. This is not quite in DRS range of the Mercedes, and that's going to be bad news for him. The 2 cars ahead do have old tyres, but here comes the Renault Rackety swooping back around the outside. Swifty later on the brakes, though, and he might just hold it. They're still side by side here. Swifty up into P11. Can he hold it, though, because Rackety is still on his outside, and the Renault, he's not backing down. And as they come through the sweeping right-handers, City later on the brakes once more as they go down into 17, and he does complete the move.
Wow.
Took him a long time, though, and has cost him a big portion of time to the car ahead.
Rackety.
And he won't be too bad with that.
Well, Rackety, I wonder if he's going to put up the same kind of fight to Husam, who's just right behind them. Of course, Vincent, Azir, an exchange between the Williams squad. Azir on the fresh softs to the end of the race here. 4.6 seconds the gap to Mammal ahead of him, and he has a job to do here. He wants to make up as many positions as he can on the fresh softs. Husam within a tenth of Rackety here, coming up through the first sector. We push down into turns 5 and 6. Nothing doing just yet for the Haas, but of course there's going to be a ton of speed. As Scars gets tough test for P1 into turn 11, and there is an exchange for lead of this race. The South African driver is now running things here, and we'll see what Tuptus has to say about it.
Well, that's what he's got to say about it. 3-second time penalty, and that could be race over for him.
Yeah.
Because not only might he lose out to Scars here, but this brings Ben back into the equation. Ben started on the front row, got a great start. Hasn't quite been at the pace here in the second sector on on the mediums, but now, well, a chance to finish in that top 2. And for Ben, it would be his first podium. Definitely got the pace. Got P4 in Mexico, I do believe, his best finish last time out. In Brazil, it was P7. No podiums for him. Full-time debut last week for McLaren. And what a way it would be to round out the season. He started with his best ever qualifying tonight. Let's see if he can get his best ever finish too. And right now, it looks pretty strong, the argument for that case. He's only got to do 3 more laps, or 3.5. We'll just see how it ends for him. Husam on the rear of Max O'Connor. These fresh softs really, like you said, starting to breathe a little bit of life back into the race.
Oh, Max O'Connor with a bit of a shake. Husam all over him with a huge snap to the inside, but Max, well, you see, oh, we have a little bit of a lag there. Tuptus dispatches Scars back through into turn 11.
There he goes, Husam on the inside, down on Max O'Connor. Fairly similar speed as they come down, but Husam just with the advantage as they come down into the corner. A bit late on the brakes, though, almost running into the rear of Yasko there. I doubt the tier 3 driver would have been too happy with that, but here goes the Haas. A great drive here as they come out of turn 10 and around the outside he goes. Those hards really starting to feel the lack of pace. He will get to the end on them, but the likelihood of points seems a bit slim here. As for the penalty situation down with these guys, Yasko's got 6, Husam has 6, Max O'Connor has 9, so there is the possibility that Husam or Yasko could pick up 1 point here for P10. Max O'Connor seems unlikely though, but Husam right now running away with that position.
Zir Mammal now, and exchange is about to go down here. Does Mammal have the defense he needs here through turns 5 and 6? Yes, but of course Azir now is going to have a lot of pace on the rear of these mediums, given the freshness of the softs and the DRS now. Not a lot that Mammal can do there, that's for sure. And Azir now 3.1 seconds to Jean.
A fairly simple overtakes, with these tire advantages that we're seeing in the late stages here. But here goes Mark, getting past Jake, who's in the pit lane. He's going for a fastest lap attempt. The man who started the season as a Red Bull full-time driver stepped down now here in one last race as a reserve for the Renault squad in place of XTXP.
Rackety, Max, they have an exchange into turn 11. Max a little bit late on the brakes there, trying to maybe hold for a switchback. Runs deep, takes a penalty for it. Rackety really pushing to try and keep up with Yasko, and we've seen Max on these hards now. Really struggling with the rear end of that Mercedes. An ultimate lap of the race, Tuptus leading Scars by half a second. And as it stands right now, Ben would still be within range to take that second position from the racing point. Scars not really applying a ton of pressure to Tuptus right now, and if they battle, I mean, that's just going to bring Ben within that range.
He's close. He needs to, you know, stick with that gap right now. He's dancing with it. Mark, 3-second time penalty. That shouldn't really play too much of a role, particularly in terms of points. Azir on the rear of Jean. The penalties to him, you can see him drop well and truly here. But with the penalties behind him, it won't be too many points. But this overtake, a little bit futile in nature. He might not be able to get past Jean here. Crampy, well, he's got 9 seconds as well. So Jean could finish P4 at the end of this. You know, the strategy for him, it worked out quite nicely with the safety car. Just has to nurse those tires to the end. They will be feeling, you know, a bit ropey. They're on their last legs, but well, Tuptus has just got onto the last lap.
Clean move ahead of Yasko into 11. 0.5 the gap to Husam, and of course Yasko will be looking to fight back for a moment, but I think Rackety might fly away here. But we are now beginning the final lap of this race. And of course it will be Tuptus leading us through here, Sector 1 into Sector 2. Scars on the rear of him with Ben as well, and there's a serious fight for podium positions here, as it's looking like it will be Scars, Ben, and then Tuptus, your top three. Ben with a bit of a slide coming out of the hairpin. He cannot make mistakes. If he wants P2 here, he needs to really hold into that 6 seconds that Tuptus has. Oh, 6 seconds, excuse me. I thought he had 3. So never mind. I'm just going to quiet myself down.
He must have picked up another one in fairly quick succession to the last one, because I thought he only had 3 as well.
I only had 3.
It wouldn't matter anyway, because Scars has just taken lead down into turn 11. And that is pretty much the last overtaking spot, unless Tuptus wants to do something daring here. But with the penalty situation, seems a little bit, you know, pointless there. He did pick up a triple warning, it would seem, on lap 27. Whether it was 3 separate warnings or 1, he might be able to get it removed at the end of this race, but right now wouldn't make a ton of difference because Ben is within 3 seconds anyway. But it's Scars one last time for the Alfa Romeo driver, the South African that maybe he could have been champion this season. It won't be, but in the last race, he takes the checkered flag first. Tuptus crosses the line second, but it's Ben. His best ever qualifying, his best ever finish here in Abu Dhabi. And I'm sure he'll be elated with that one. Tuptus, not the finish he would have liked. Could have won this race, but still a podium in the finale. Jean gets both Crampy and Azir on penalties. Mammal gets them both as well in the Ferrari. So P5 for the reserve there. Crampy P6. Didn't come into this one too confident. He'll be happy with that one. The soft medium there with the safety car worked out quite nicely. Azir from 19th to 7th. Championship winner. Went for the last to first. Came out in 7th with the safety car sort of ruining his strategy a little bit there, but still a great race in the Williams. Not just him, but Vincent Nyquist as well, the tier 3 driver, reserving up a division to try and score some last points in the Constructors' Championship. Has done quite nicely there. And speaking of the Constructors' Championship, Swifty does well to extend the gap. Red Bull has up top of things ahead of Mercedes. Neither Mercedes here scoring points. Max O'Connor in 13th, Eruption in 14th. Husam, lost of the points, finishes in 10th. Rackety 11th for Renault. Yasko 12th. Jake, well, he gets both of the Mercedes on penalties. He gets 13th. Max O'Connor and Eruption demoted to 14th and 15th. Well, it's not on penalties. Eruption doing a few donuts there to round out the season, it would seem. Needs to make sure he doesn't get in the way of Mark here, but having a little bit of fun there on the stripes.
Mark may join him, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's the end of the season. These guys, they've driven 22 races. A lot of these guys, you know, coming through to the end now, trying to get a little bit of a celebration in after a long, hard-working season. I think that's quite all right by my standards. And, well, if they can do it in reality, I don't see why we can't do it here in a virtual world. It costs less. But
yeah, no one's gonna have to go and pick up a little bit of contact between them, but
they aren't the synchronized swimmers, you see. But of course, they're trying their best. But
well, not like AI Cars coming up behind them. There's Scars. He's come to join the fun.
Well, they're just having themselves a little bit of a fun time here in the virtual space, and I think that's quite all right. And well, what a finale to the season it's been for this Tier 2 division. Azir capturing that driver of the day, and well, who could think otherwise, considering how he ended up starting at the back of the grid, and he took a ton of positions. But of course, it all came down to the South African. Once again, another race win for him. It was Scars, of course, coming through to collect the victory here for the final round of Tier 2 Season 4. And that will wrap up the season for the record books. Of course, he had Tuptus with him there, as well as Ben, with a very, very good finish. Solid race from everybody. Thank you very much to Crampy for the raid, and of course everybody in the chat for watching along. We're going to have interviews, of course, in just a few moments. There's the classification. Quite the host of penalties here in this one. Drivers pushing hard, fighting hard, and they're taking penalties along the way. But of course, there it is, the final classification. It's Scars, Ben, Tuptus again, your top three. Jean and Mammal rounding out 4 and 5. Crampy, Azir, Vincent Nyquist, Swifty, and Husam collecting points for the final round.
Great way to end out the season. And, you know, all the drivers sort of coming across here. You know, communicating to one another. Mark with the raid. Unfortunate to hear you had suffering with a few issues in that race, but still managed to cross the line, having a little bit of fun as well. Thank you for the raid, of course. Yeah, thank you for, you know, the season as well. As we just wait for the podium finishes, we've got most of them, I think. At least Scars and Tuptus are around. Hopefully we can get Ben as well. But what a season it's been. We do have all three drivers, it would seem, ready and waiting for the interviews.
Well,
a great end to the season.
Fantastic race that was. Joining us now for an interview, Tuptus. What a drive, what a race this finale was. It was a very intense race. Talk us through it. Congratulations on the podium here. How was it for you?
It was good until the lap 16, because I got the 2 warnings, and then yeah, I need to take care of the track limits, and yeah, couldn't go my pace.
Track limits really restricting you when you have the potential to pick up that penalty. Of course, there was the safety car in this race. How did it play out for you with the safety car? Was that something that you were happy with, not too happy with?
It was good.
Good for your strategy. How did you feel about just the race overall? Would you say it was a good race? You feel like you had a bit more today?
I mean, podium is still good, but I didn't want to take the 2 penalties. I'm kind of disappointed.
Talking about Abu Dhabi, or maybe moving on just from Abu Dhabi for a second here. It's the end of the season, of course. You've had some great drives this season. What would you say to reflect on the season?
It was good. I came here in Great Britain. I drove solid races, and it was a nice league.
We've had a great time having you, of course. And is this something can Unicorn and I here see you next season? Is this something you expect to carry on doing with us next season?
Of course.
Well, that's great to hear, isn't it, Unicorn? Unicorn, do you have any questions for Tuptus before we move ahead and speak to Ben?
Well, Tuptus, you know, just rounded out, you know, 4 podiums in a row. Great run of form to finish it out, where, you know, bit of a shaky start, you know, like, you know, as just said, great to hear you coming back. But from me to you, congratulations. And any sort of plans for the off season? You know, I don't know if you've got any assists that you're planning to turn off or anything like that, but what is it, relax or just practice for next season?
Yeah, I'm planning to turn off ABS for F1 2021.
Well, Tutus, I hope it goes well. Congratulations again. Haven't been here the whole season, but you've done well to claw yourself up to P5 in the standings. And, well, it's just been a brilliant season for you all around. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you have any messages for the viewers before we sign off with the interview, Tutus?
Thanks for watching.
There you have it. Thank you so much, Tutus, and thanks for joining us for a great season. That was Tutus, ladies and gentlemen, P3 in the final race. Now we are going to talk to a driver I do not believe we have ever had the pleasure of speaking with here in an interview before, Unicorn. It is Ben. Well, what a drive today in a very intense, pressure-cooked race, Ben. How are you feeling after this one? Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm feeling good. It was quite tough keeping with Scars and Tutus. They had better pace on the 1 mediums. And it was quite difficult to keep with them, especially when they had DRS on each other. I felt quite lucky to get into P1 off the start after Scars sort of got stuck on the line. So leading into turn 1, yeah, I can't complain.
For you, just in your race, was it a busy race for you? Would you say it was a quieter race for you? We had the safety car, of course. You had that rocket. You know, you had that really good start. You had Scars getting caught up, Tutus and everyone kind of getting caught up. Just talk us through. Was it a quiet race? Was it a hard race? How would you describe the race overall?
Quite controlled, because I knew I had to keep with the top 3, otherwise I would have fallen down even further, maybe towards Crampy and John and maybe Azir. But yeah, just kept the consistent pace and that paid off. So
this is your second drive in a full-time seat, technically speaking, this season, and well, with McLaren, of course, I know it's taken you some time to get into that seat, some ups and downs, things in that. Are you looking to come back next season, and how would you describe your time driving in the league so far?
Yeah, of course I would like a full-time seat next season from the start. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. The odd races that I did up until I think it was Mexico, and then from Mexico I've had very good performances. Got top 10 finishes in each, so I'm pleased with myself.
You've definitely been showing some fantastic pace since you've come through into the division. Unicorn, do you have any questions for Ben?
Well, Ben, following off from that, congratulations. Like you said, it's been a great, few performances from you in the last couple of races. And, your best qualifying here, your best finish as well, both P2. Going into next season, does that help you, carry some confidence into that? Obviously, it's a new game, so that changed a little bit. But knowing that you're just improving all the time and getting your best finish in the last race, surely that takes a little bit, into the next game in terms of confidence.
Yeah, I would like to work on my pace with no line, so I'll go completely no assists and then see where I go at the start of next game. I have quite a lot of time on my hands at the moment, so I can sweat the game. But yeah, I'm looking forward to F1 2021 and hopefully Season 5.
Well, Ben, as always, good luck with, the practice, etc. We hope to see you back next season. But for this season, congratulations. It's been a great few races, the ones you've been in. And yeah, congratulations once again, Ben.
Thank you.
Congrats, Ben, and we'll hope to see you again in the commentary booth with us for many podiums next time round when we go racing again next season. All right, that was Ben, ladies and gentlemen. Now it is time to talk to our runner-up in the championship this season. It is none other than the race winner tonight, Scars. How are you feeling? It's been what a season it has been, but you collect the final win here, the final race. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. It's been a really good season, and especially a really good end to the season. And also getting the last race win of the season is very good, ending the season in style. Yeah, really good.
It was a very, very, I'd say, shaky start for a lot of the racers on the grid. We saw a ton of position changing throughout this race, of course. Things stayed consistent for you once things got really going. But how was that race start for you? We just heard Ben talk about how he kind of got the lead off of the start. Do you want to talk us through what happened at the race start for you? It was quite hectic.
Yeah, the initial start was fine, and then I think I just put the throttle down too early, and I lost traction, so I had to just back off, or else I would have been at the wall. So that made me lose a lot of positions. And then through turn one, I had to go off track. I don't know if that gave me some positions or something, but I don't think it did. But I managed to just about hold on to P3, which is good. It was a terrible start, but no one else behind me really got good starts either, so I'm grateful for that.
It was a very, very dynamic race. We also had that safety car come out. How did that safety car play out for you in this race? Do you think it came out at a good time? Do you think you might have struggled had you not had that opportunity?
No, not okay. So yeah, the safety car came out at a perfect time, but of course, if there was no safety car the entire race, it may have been harder because the medium runners would have been really good at the end, but this basically just gave us a free pit stop and screwed the other guys over. So that really helped us, so it was only the soft runners that were fighting for it in the end. But yeah, the safety car literally could not have come out at a more perfect time for us.
Well, it was a great drive from you, and Crampy didn't have the greatest of expectations coming into this race. I saw him speaking about it earlier, but he did net himself into a decent position in the end. How is it you are looking for season 5 now? Are you excited for season 5? Do you have big expectations going into the next season?
I'm not sure. I'm obviously gonna turn off some of the assists. Racing line is gonna go off for next game, so I don't know what to expect. I know a lot of other people that I know are also going without the racing line, so hoping to get into tier 1 next season. Very excited for the new game. It looks really good, the new game. So hopefully it comes to be that. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Unicorn, any questions for Scars before we wrap things up for this evening?
Well, Scars, obviously, Constructors Championship runner-up here as well. This win puts you at the most wins for a single driver as well for the division. Just what's been, the standout moment that, your favorite moment, the highlight of your season, whether it be, here in Tier 2 or your one race, I think, in Tier 1 or a couple of races in Tier 1. But what's been the highlight for you, just your favorite moment from the whole thing?
Favorite moment? I have to think now. There's been quite a few. Probably going from basically last to win in Russia was a pretty good one. That was probably one of my best moments. In Japan as well, where I took the hards from lap 1 to finish P2. So that was also really good. So those two moments mean a lot. And also, of course, the Tier 1 appearance, P4, that was also a really good moment as well. So those 3 moments mainly.
Absolutely. Well, Scars, it's been a great season from you so far, whether it be here in Tier 2 or maybe, like you said, Tier 1 next season. We're excited to see what happens in the next game. But from me to you, congratulations again on obviously the championship and the constructors, and obviously P2 here in the drivers. It's been a tough, long season, but you've come out here P2, most wins, lots to be proud of. So Scars, congratulations, and we'll see you, next season.
All right, cheers, boys.
Thanks, Scars. What a race and what a finale for Tier 2 here, Unicorn, for Abu Dhabi. That was 22 races now wrapped up with a very, very solid cap off with that. And of course, that is going to wrap up our Tier 2 coverage, not only for this week, but for the season. And we're going to go on a short break. We'll be back in and around August. Of course, you can find us on all of the social media, and if we're going live, you'll know about it if you're on there, because we're going to be talking a lot about Season 5 when things get underway. But of course, we aren't finished racing for the week just yet. We will be back tomorrow, Unicorn and I, same time, same place here, 8 p.m. BST, that's 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight, and of course 9 p.m. for our friends in Central Europe, and this will be the Tier 1 racing action, and it is going to be, I imagine, very, very intense, very much like we saw today and in the past few races around here in the Yaz Island. Now, of course, with that, we have a giveaway running with our great partners, Next Level Racing, exclamation giveaway. You can get involved. You can enter in that and win yourself a free racing cockpit. It's a really, really cool giveaway that they're doing to really grow the sim racing community. So great thanks to them in putting that up for the racers around, and you just love to see it. Also, of course, you can find this replay and all of the highlights on our YouTube channel, exclamation YouTube. Anything from you, Unicorn, before we wrap up Tier 2 racing for the season?
Well, Striff, you know, it's been a pleasure to commentate Tier 2. You know, these guys have put on a great show from start to finish. It's been, you know, a great fight for the championship. Azir and Scars, obviously. It's a shame it got a bit cut short in Mexico, but regardless, it's been, you know, fun. A big shout out to the Alfa Romeo crew for that, you know, huge performance as well in the constructors. But it's just been so thrilling to watch for the past, you know, 22 weeks. Tier 1 tomorrow, again, after this race and after the races that we've had. Something very much to look forward to. It feels weird having wrapped up a 22-week season. It's been quite the lengthy season, but it's been like I said, from start to finish in Tier 1. Well, we got to wrap that up tomorrow. A lot of action here this week still to come, of course, you know, endurance, as well as all the other Abu Dhabi races to round it out. But onto a new game next time for Tier 2 when we're here next. But yeah, Striff, thank you as always for commentating alongside me. It's been a pleasure, like I said. But yeah, and thank you to everyone watching.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you to everybody watching along for all the action, and pleasure commentating Tier 2 with you, excuse me, all season long. And well, Tier 1 tomorrow, we'll see what it will unfold and bring us. And of course, guys, thank you again. That's it for us signing off. We'll see you tomorrow.